ॐ अज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मीलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपः कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकं। वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपासिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद, श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद। हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। मनोजवं मारुततुल्यवेगं जितेन्द्रियं बुद्धिमतां वरिष्ठं वातात्मजं वानरयूथमुख्यं श्रीरामदूतं शिरसा नमामि। कूजन्तं राम रामेति मधुरं मधुराक्षरम् आरुह्य कविताशाखां वन्दे वाल्मीकिकोकिलम्। आपदामपहर्तारं दातारं सर्वसम्पदां लोकाभिरामं श्रीरामं भूयो भूयो नमाम्यहम्। दक्षिणे लक्ष्मणो यस्य वामे च जनकात्मजा पुरतो मारुतिर्यस्य तं वन्दे रघुनन्दनम्। Because Srimad Ramayana is a Sharanagati Shastra, wherever Sharanagati manifests within Ramayana is a point of celebration, a great joyous occasion. And Sri Ramachandra, as very rightly understood by Vibhishana, he is Sarvaloka Sharanyaya, Raghavaya Mahatmane. When he says Sarvaloka, Loka means planet, meaning he is fit to be the shelter of every planet in all the realms of the universe. So not just the earth, but the Bhuvar, Swarga, Mahar, Jana, Tapa, Satyaloka, and all the way down to Atala, Vitala, Sutala, Rasatala, Talatala, Patala, Sarvaloka, Sharan. Anybody. Now, Sarvaloka also means all beings, not just human beings. And this is the greatness of Sri Ramachandra that Vibhishana has understood. It's not just human beings, Devas, Gandharvas, who are all residing in different realms. Kinnaras, Kimpurushas, Vidyadharas, the residents of Brahmaloka, the residents of the lower planets, animals, birds, Danavas, Asuras, and even Rakshasas. And here I am, a Rakshasa, who has left my brother, my kingdom, my family, my wealth, my house, everything. Manasa deha geho cho kichu mora arpinu tuvapade nanda kishora, as Bhaktivinoda Thakur tells us. That is Sharanagati. I'm offering everything to you. Now, Sharanagati is meant to be done through the representatives who all had a conversation that Vibhishana is not a suitable candidate. They all had their reasonings. Sri Hanuman, our hero always, had a very, very, I guess, intimate reading of Ramachandra's heart. Sri Chaitanya Mano Abhishtam, one who knows what is dear and pleasing to the heart of the Lord. That Hanumanji gave a, a response that refuted, respectfully refuted all of their reasons why Vibhishana should not be accepted. And he said, no, Vibhishana should be accepted because, just a summary, is that all other reasoning are very much contextual or dealing with the externalities. He's Rakshasa, he's born from here, he's Ravana's brother, he is a spy, he may cause, his nature is to cause harm. So it's on the body and mind level. But Hanuman is representing the, or recognizing that it's the, there is a soul residing inside. And that soul, by birthright, belongs to Sri Ramachandra. And so when one comes to offer oneself to the Lord doesn't look. Now, this is great hope for us, that the Lord doesn't look at all the dirty layers we have. When I say he doesn't look, it means he doesn't consider them. He considers that that jiva is mine and wants to facilitate the union of the jiva with the Supreme Lord. And he makes whatever is required to remove those layers. That is his responsibility. So after Hanuman spoke, obviously it brought great joy to Ramachandra. It brought so much joy. Hanuman's words brought so much joy that even Valmiki is now in ecstasy, if you will. And we'll see how. So chapter 18 begins with Atha Ramaha Prasannatma Shrutva Vayusutasya Ha Pratyabhashata Durdharshaha Shrutavan Atmani Sthitam. Excellent, excellent words. I mean, who am I to say? But excellent words that in a sloka has captured the entire spirit of Hanuman's speech and Ramachandra's nature. Atha. Atha means now. Vayu uh, Shrutva. So he's heard what Hanuman spoke. What happened to Ramachandra hearing Hanuman's words? Prasanna Atma. Ramachandra became so happy. This is the greatest accomplishment a disciple can do, is to please the heart of the spiritual master. It is the greatest accomplishment of a living being, that through their service can make the heart of the Lord happy. Ataha Ramaha. Now, by nature, his name is Ramaha, means he is always in a delighted state. How can you, it's like saying adding water to an ocean. What difference does it make? Yet, Hanuman's words, although he is Ramaha, such choice of words, Ramaha, Prasanna Atma. Ramchandra has always been bliss. And he makes everyone else also come to bliss. Yet, Hanuman's word, Shutva Vayu Sutasya. And how do we know Valmiki is in ecstasy? Ha! That, wow, even the most blissful, always in a state of joy, such person is made happy. It's like saying one who's not attracted to anything is attracted to something. That's what Srimati Radharan is called, Madan Mohana Mohini. Because Krishna attracts everything and everyone in the world. That means he is the most attractive person. But when he's attractive, what must she be like? Similarly, Ramaha, Valmiki saying, Ataha, this Atha, this personality, Ramaha, the eternally blissful personality. Yet, Prasanna Atma, Shrutva Vayusutasya cha, Vayusutasya ha. Even Valmiki is astonished. When great personalities who don't want anything from this world, or say it in a way that these personalities, nothing surprises them. There is no, because they are so engrossed in the Supreme Lord, there is nothing in this world that says, oh, wow. There's no wow for them in this world. Such a personality, Valmiki says, ha, wow, look at Hanuman's speech. Pratyabhashata. Now, Ramachandra responded. Bhashata is to speak. Pratyabhashata is responded. Now, for Ramachandra to respond, Valmiki is giving some qualities of Sri Ramachandra. Durdharshaha. Durdharshaha means one who cannot be overpowered. Now, this overpowering is not about physical strength. Yes, Ramachandra has that strength, the physical strength that nobody can overpower him, and he's going to speak about it in a few verses. But this Durdharsha here means he's Satya Sankalpa. Once in his mind he decides, it's impossible to make him change his mind. Once he decides that he's going to give his mercy to somebody, it's impossible to make him change his mind. These are good qualities we should be happy about. Durdharsha. He is already determined that Vibhishana should be given shelter. So Durdharsha. Okay. And Atmani Sthitam. Ramachandra is always situated within his own self. A yogi must be Atmavan or Atmani Sthitam. Otherwise, it's very easy to get distracted by, get attracted to, and digressed from the path that they want. Here he is Atmani Sthitam. He's determined. And because he's determined, he cannot be dissuaded. The determination is, I will give shelter to anybody who comes to me. So Ramachandra spoke. Now he's speaking to all the Vanaras, but particularly addressing Hanuman, because previously he had walked up to Hanuman. Valmiki said he had walked up to Hanumanji and addressed Sugriva. He says, Mamavicha vivikshasti kachit prati vibhishanam shotum ichhami tat sarvam bhavadbir shreyasi sthitai. Ramachandra, whatever he speaks is so lovely. He says, I understand that all of you have spoken the way you have spoken because Shreyasi Sthitaihi. Bhavadvi Shreyasi Sthitaihi. All of you are situated in my welfare. You're only thinking about what is good for me. So I appreciate that very much. But I have a desire I want to speak something. Kachit Prati, I have a little desire to say something about Vibhishana, on the topic of Vibhishana. Shrotum Ichhami. I desire that you hear me. I desire to make you hear what my opinion is. You're seeing that he is a Rakshasa. He's Ravana's brother. He may have come as a spy. He may have bad intentions, etc. But you know what is my consideration? Mitra bhavena sampraptam न त्यजेयम कथंचन दोषो यद्यपि तस्य स्यात् सतमो तद गर्हितम satam o tad agarhitam. Now Ramachandra is giving a reference that how he considers his life. So first he says mitra bhavena sampraptam. Vibhishana has come in with a friendly disposition. He has not come with an antagonistic approach. He has come as a friend, not as a friend like buddy, but in a friendly attitude. We are to approach the Supreme Lord always with a friendly attitude. Na tyajeyam kathanchana. With anyone who comes like that should never be rejected. Even if an enemy comes with a friendly disposition, it should not be rejected. Then what to speak of someone who's coming as a friend? Okay, but he has so many faults. Look at his birth. Look at his association. Look at his nature, Rakshasa. Dosho yadyapi. Even if there are hundreds of faults in a person, tasya syat. Now, in him, there may be so many faults, but what am I as the Supreme Lord? Although I am Ramachandra, my reference point is the great sages. Satam etat agarhitam. Satam means those who are situated in Sat, the great sages. Etat agarhitam. Agarhitam means nothing reprehensible, nothing is seen as detestable by the great persons. So we follow in the lines of the great persons, right? Rupa Goswami has told it, Sato Vrite. Sato Vritti. We follow the Vritti, the behavior, the conduct of Satam, Sata, great persons, the great devotees. So Ramachandra is saying, I follow in the footsteps of those great persons. He's speaking as a king, as a human being, although he's the Sarvaloka Sharanyaya. So this is the greatness of devotees, the greatness of such personalities who are always our reference points of how to behave. What are some considerations to make in life? Is what are the considerations great persons make? That's Rupa Goswami's Tat Tat Karma Pravartanat and Satovrite. We do what they do, and we vritta also means the movement of their consciousness. Satovritti. Oh, what a lovely verse, really. Uh, Now, this ha that Valmiki is talking about is also in anticipation, not just of what Hanumanji spoke, but also in anticipation of what is Ramachandra's consideration. That is the ha. Mitra bhavena sampraptam nyatyajeyam kathanchana. What a great person Ramachandra is. Sugriva's Pathya Tadvakyam Tadvakyam Abhashaya Cha Vimrishascha Tatah Shubhataram Vakyam Uvacha Haripungava. Ramachandra uh, was reflecting on, thinking about what Sugriva said, and even repeated the words of Sugriva. So Ramachandra is now addressing Sugriva and saying, so what if he is a wicked person? So what if he is a Rakshasa? So Dushtova, he may be a very, very wicked person. Api Adushtova, he may not be a wicked person. Kimesha, how does it matter? Idrisham Vyasanam Praptam Bhrataram Yaha Paritajyat. When he can, because Sugriva also said the same, no? What does it matter if he's a good person or bad person? He has given up his brother. Hmm? Especially when his brother is going through a hard time. What is the hard time? His whole kingdom got burnt by Hanuman. He's about to fight a war very soon because we are all here. At such time, you don't leave your brothers, right? So Ramchandra has repeated what Sugriva has said. So Ramachandra smiled and spoke these words to Lakshmana, addressing Lakshmana, but he's speaking to Sugriva. He's speaking about Sugriva because Sugriva has a lot of love for Ramachandra and spoken the right things. As a king, a friend, he has spoken the right things. So Ramachandra tells Lakshmana, without studying scriptures and without serving one's superiors, nobody can speak like this, which means Sugriva has good character. Now, something about Sri Ramachandra is very fascinating. He doesn't necessarily um, appreciate. I shouldn't say appreciate. He doesn't flatter anybody. But the way he appreciates one person is by speaking about them to others. It's a very good quality to appreciate. Of course, we appreciate the person directly also because he will tell Sugriva now in a few verses what he appreciates about Sugriva. But what he's really appreciating is when he's talking to Lakshmana. Now, Lakshmana is the source of all devotional knowledge, right? He is the supreme personality of servitor godhood, as we say about Lord Balaram. So he's saying to Lakshmana, without studying scriptures, anadhitya cha shastrani, and vridhan anupasevya, udhrananupasevya, without serving the superiors, without studying scripture properly, one cannot speak like this. Now, something about Vibhishana, there is something very subtle about Vibhishana. Is there in all rulers, but there is something very wonderful about Vibhishana, which is sukshmam. Sukshmam is subtle. Ramachandra is able to see what is there that is subtle. He says that Ravana's situation is such that he is about to get into a war. He has just been completely, his kingdom has been decimated by Hanuman. And yet, Vibhishana has come here. Now, in one's life, uh, when relatives don't carry negative feelings for each other, then they are considered as friends. But in the case of kings, when their relatives are very friendly to the king always holds them in some sort of suspicion. What is this fellow's ulterior motive? Because they all want the kingdom, they all want to somehow or the other move the current king out of his place. So there's a lot of political machinations, as they call, the politics running in the background. But in the front, they'll smile and speak so lovingly. It's called cloak and dagger. You have a nice silken velvet dress, but you're hiding a knife or a dagger to kill the person with. So a king can become very suspicious. So Sugriva, it is true that the disadvantage of accepting someone like Vibhishana is obvious because he is coming from a enemy camp. But let me share my opinion about it. He says, we are not Vibhishana's relatives. So Vibhishana may want the kingdom or not. That's besides the point. But even in Rakshasas, they can be very learned persons. And Vibhishana is one of those learned persons. Now, how does Ramachandra know? Because somebody saying he's a learned person is one thing. His own family members, Surpanaka, said that Vibhishana, that brother of ours, is just not a good Rakshasa. Just a bad Rakshasa. I mean, Rakshasa is already bad, but bad Rakshasa means he's only interested in dharmic conversations. We don't like him so much. So that means he's very learned. So because he's very learned, it is worth appreciating what he has. So we can accept it. When Vibhishana joins us, hmm, Vibhishana and all the persons, the four persons who have come with him, they will be free from any anxiety and actually become very happy. Now, when he's appealing, this loudly he's appealing that I am here, want to take shelter of Ramachandra, and when we accept him, you can tell that in the Rakshasa camp there is fear. And because of that fear, that things are going to all get decimated, Vibhishana has come here. And what will happen is because Vibhishana has come here, among the Rakshasas, disagreement will begin. Therefore, Vibhishana should be accepted. Now, Ramachandra is not offering a very spiritual type of answers just yet because Sugriva's concerns were very, uh, let's say, political, for the lack of a better word. Political, not in terms of the maneuvering, but looking at Rajniti, looking at what in politics, who you should accept as uh, alliances or not. Or Ramachandra is just speaking on that level right now. And then Ramachandra says, beautiful verse to Sugriva, because he's appreciating Sugriva's wisdom. He says, Na sarve bhrataras tata. Tata means my dear Sugriva, oh my dear. Na sarve bhrataras tata bhavanti bharatopama. In this world, there is no brother like Bharata. Madvida va pituhu putraha. Like me, there isn't a son to a father in the entire world. Suhrudo va bhavatvidha. And there is no friend in the entire world like you. He's appreciating. Because now, see, Hanuman has disagreed and spoken something differently from what Sugriva is saying. But Ramachandra doesn't say, oh, Sugriva, you're wrong. He says, Sugriva, I hear that you're coming from a very, very loving place for me. You're a dear friend. You really take friendship very, very seriously. You care for me, and that's where you're coming from. I see that. Because in this, therefore, in this world, there is no friend like you. There is no son to a father like me, and there is no brother like Bharata. Ramachandra's meditation is on his lovely brother Bharata, who's thousands of miles away, sitting all alone in Nandigram, waiting for Ramachandra to return. And the reason he's appreciating Bharata is that Bharata, although wanted to come and be with Ramachandra, they say Bharata's Sharanagati was not successful. Is there a disqualification in Bharata? No. Bharata also gave up everything. Ananya Gatitvam, and also uh, Akinchanatvam. He didn't want anything. He's also wearing jata, wearing valkala, this jute cloth, and not eating anything, sitting in Nandigram. But it was Ramachandra's Sankalpa, which is stronger than everyone else's. Therefore, he is Atmani Sthitam and Durdharsha. Ramachandra did not was not ready to go back to Ayodhya. But why is that? Because the word to go to the forest was already given. Bharata's Sharanagati came later. So, in terms of priority and chronology, Ramachandra is following his word. But yet, Bharata has won the heart of Ramachandra. So it says, Bhrataras tata bhavanti na Bharatopama. Now, Ramachandra, uh, as soon as he spoke, Sugriva and Lakshmana both got up. But Sugriva still had some things to say. So Sugriva said, Ramachandra, Vibhishana is still a Rakshasa who's been dispatched by Ravana. Therefore, I think we should arrest him. Ravana has sent him. He has come here to attack you when you are in a very unsuspecting situation. And uh, he may even attack Lakshmana. In fact, all of his ministers and he should be killed because he's the brother of Ravana. Now, parallelly, when Hanuman was there in Lanka, Ravana was being advised, kill Hanuman. And Ravana liked that advice. Only Vibhishana said, no, 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 you cannot kill a messenger. Here, Sugriva is saying, oh, see, he's a messenger. He's come here with malintent. We should kill him. Should arrest him. In fact, even kill him is okay. Now, after speaking like that, Sugriva just kept quiet, became silent. Ramachandra seriously thought about Sugriva's words. Sa Sugrivyasya tad vakyam Ramah Shrutva Vimrushya started pondering on it. Tatha Shubhataram Vakyam Uvacha Haripungam. Shubhataram. So Ramachandra, now from what he had spoken, which were very, very amazing words, Ramachandra's words, spoke even more auspicious words. Shubhataram. And then he says, Sa Dushtova Apyudushtova Kimesha Rajni Charaha. This repeated the same words. He may be a dushta, has some wicked intent, or may not be. Vibhishana can be any of these. Sukshmamapyahitam kartum mama shaktah kathanchana. Is he capable of doing even the slightest, subtlest mischief with me? Is it possible at all? Do you know, Sugriva, who I am? You are thinking you are going to protect me. You are thinking this army of Vanaras is going to protect me. You know, the reality is Pishachan, Danavan, Yakshan, Prithivyam Chaiva Rakshasam, Angulya Agrenatan, Hantyam Ichan Haripungeshwara, Hariganeshwara. Oh, the leader of all the monkeys. Hanyam Ichan. If I desire to kill, then I can finish off everybody in this universe. Pishachan, they can be ghosts. Danavan, they can be the Danavas. Yakshan, Prithivyam Chaiva Rakshasan, they can be all sorts of people in this universe. And what will I need to kill them? I don't need my weapons. I don't need anything. Angulya Agrena, from the tip of my finger, I can finish them off. That is my strength. So no need to worry. But this is not a point of are we strong or not. This is not about strength. Because Sugriva, you're considering whether it is strength or not. Oh, when I'm not alert, he will kill me. He's come from Ravana's camp. This is not about strength. I don't need strength. I already have it. I can destroy the entire universe just with the tip of my finger. But the consideration here is not strength. The consideration here is kindness, charity, the nature of the heart. It's the affective side, not the physical side. the affective. You should understand how my heart moves. So let me tell you a story. I'll tell you a story about a kapota. Kapota is pigeon. श्रूयते हि कपोतेन शत्रु शरणमागतः अर्चितस्य यथा न्याय स्वैश्च nirmantritah. Okay, so now there's a story. Ramachandra is quoting a story about a pigeon. So there was a husband pigeon and a wife pigeon. And one day, a hunter attacked and caught hold of the female pigeon and had killed it or captured it. After that, he came and sat under the tree on which the male pigeon was sitting. Because that tree belongs to the pigeon, the male pigeon accepted that hunter who caused his own dear wife great distress, accepted that hunter as a guest, hospitality. Now, what kind of hospitality did the pigeon offer? The pigeon offered itself in the fire and gave his meat for the hunter to eat. So this is the nature, that even if harm was done to the pigeon did not reciprocate with harm. The pigeon reciprocated with love, with compassion, with charity, and gave himself or herself up for the pleasure of supposed enemy. Then Ramachandra says, if a pigeon can do something like that, what to speak about a cultured human being like me? Kapoto Vanara Seshta Kim Punar Kim Kim Punar Madvidho Jana Madvidar, person like me, what to speak of us, who are supposedly far more cultured? How should we behave? Okay, Sugriva, let me tell you what the great sage by the name Kandu, who was the son of Kanva Muni. Rishehe Kandvasya Putrena Kanduna Paramarshina. Kanduna, spoken by Kandu, who was the son of Kandva Muni. I'm going to narrate that to you. Shunu Gatha Pura Gita Dharmishta Satyavadina. Shunu, listen. Gatha Pura, it's an old story or old set of instructions that was spoken many, many, many generations ago. Ramachandra speaks a nice principle. Uh, in the name of humanity, one should not strike even an enemy if that enemy has arrived at your door and is requesting protection with joined hands. And so nice. Ramachandra is addressing Sugriva as Parantapa, the killer of your enemies. You have that ability, but a greater strength is to forgive. You may have strength to kill your enemy. Yes, it's possible. And you can be victorious. But a greater victory is if you can forgive your enemy. Baddhanjali putam deenam yachantam sharanagatam nahanyad Anrushamsyarthapi Anrushamsyarthamapi Shatrum Parantapa. Nahanyat. One should not. Now, enemy may come to your doorstep not to make friendship. He may be in some distress. Artova. Yadiva druptaha. He may be coming here because he wants some protection against his own enemies. He may come here because he's in some sort of distress. He may come here out of his pride. Yet, you should not consider those things. You should protect him. Arto va yadi va druptaha pareshan sharanam gataha. Arihi pranan parityajya rakshitavya kritamatmana. Now, how should you protect your enemy? Pranan parityajya. You can even give up your own life to protect your enemy. Arihi pranan parityajya rakshitavya. These are the characters of Ramachandra and the great consideration. Now we may say, oh, Ramachandra is like that. He's asking me to be like that. Who can emulate Sri Ramachandra? So I'm going to pause because there's more conversation here, but I want us to orient how to take these instructions, because these are, at least the first read will say, this is impossible. I cannot be like that. Even if we think, yeah, I can be like that, when someone we think of as an enemy comes in front of us, then our mind goes into all sorts of dialogues and chatter and the wheels are turning and we can hear them. So emulating this may be far away, but that far away destination can be reached when there is an intention to actually go in that direction. Without an intention, one cannot make that journey. It becomes impossible. So the intention must be that, oh, someday may I emulate my life in a way that those great sages, my spiritual master, Sri Ramachandra, Hanuman, these are the Lakshmana, these are the personalities who live like this. May I emulate my life in that direction. That intention is most important. That's one. So from the side of how we should be when we hear this. The second is, what is the Lord's heart to give shelter to people like me? I may not have come with mitra bhavena. I may have come in some distress. I may have come out of no other intention, out of even pride, as he says, druptaha, no reason. Yet the Lord's heart is such that he fully accepts and he wants to give himself to us. He says, no, pranan parityajya. Although this is talking about an enemy, the question is, if the Lord can give his own life or be willing to give his life to an enemy, what to speak of even a little bit of friendliness that we may have for him? That's the consideration, like how fortunate we are to have been invited into the family of the Achyuta Gotra, if you will, not just because we're initiated, but that we are part of Achyuta's family. So then there may be considerations. Oh, I may have some fear. I may have some hesitation about giving in charity to so-called enemy. Then Ramachandra said, or he's quoting Kandu Rishi, that such a person becomes grasped by or enveloped by sin. Nachet bhayad va mohad va kamad vapi na rakshati. So bhaya, moha, kama. Swaya shaktya yatha nyayam. Swaya shaktya, out of one's own strength or according to one's capacity, if one does not give shelter out of fear or some sort of illusion or kama, some desire of some gain, what will I get? If I won't get anything, why I should give shelter to such a person, to an enemy? Ramachandra says, Tat papam loka garhitam. Loka garhitam. It becomes the entire world will think of that person in a very bad way. Now, Ramachandra does not say that everyone should be like me, because no one can be like you. So he says, Swaya Shaktya, according to your capacity, but the intention should be there. Your capacity may be different. And if you're seeing an enemy who was asking for shelter and you don't give shelter and something happens to that person, then that hesitation or not acting will take away all the good merit that a person may have worked for. Vinashta pashyantasya rakshinah sharanam gatah anaya sukritam tasya sarvam gacchedharakshitah. The one who's not protected, arakshitah, takes away all the good merit of the one who did not protect. Vinashta sukritam tasya sarvam. So then it's very, very sinful to not protect such a person. And not only is all the sukriti gone away, there is no elevation of consciousness for the person. That person becomes full of infamy, loses all of one's strength, all of one's virility. Asvargyam chaya, asvargyam chaya shamsyam cha bala viryan vinashanam. Krishna was so strong with Arjuna. If you don't perform your duty, what is the right thing to do at this point? Asvargyam, anaryajushtam, akirtikaram, Arjuna. Your duty is to give shelter to anybody who comes to you, even if he's an enemy. If you don't do it, asvargyam, chayashamsyam, ayashamsyam, cha, ayashamsyam, loses one's life, becomes weak. Bala virya vinashanam. So, Sugriva, I will follow the words of the great sage. Karishyami yathartham tu kandor vachanam uttamam. Fantastic words. Because that will lead to elevation of one's consciousness. Now, now is that famous verse. After giving his reasoning to Sugriva, Sakrudeva prapannaya tavasmi iti chayachate. Abhayam sarvabhutebhyo dadami etad vratam mama. It's not just dadami sharanam. He says vratam. This is my vrata. We all take vows. Whether we are initiated or not initiated, we are living by some vow. When we are married, we take a vow that you are my only partner. I will not scout around. I will live with you. And that's a vow we take, marriage vows, initiation vows. One is supposed to take them seriously, vrata. So Ramachandra, we take a vow during initiation of how we will be with Ramachandra and how we are submitting ourselves to the Guru. So then what does this Lord do? Just sit there and say, yeah, okay, very good. No, he also takes a vow. The vow he takes is Sakrud eva prapannaya, even once only. Now I'm going to explain this. Even once, even if only once, Sakrud eva, only one time. Somebody comes to me and says, Tava asmi, I am yours. Please accept me. Abhayam sarvabhutebhyo. I will release them of fear from all sorts of conditions. Abhayam dadami. I will give them that. This is my vrata. This verse is called Charama Shloka of Ramayana. And the very similar verse is called the Charma Shloka of Bhagavad Gita. Sarvadharman Parityajya Mam Ekam Sharanam Vraja Aham Tvam Sarva Papebhya Mokshishyami Ma Shuchaha. He says Sarva Papebhya Sarva Abhayam Sarva Bhutebhya. I award you fearlessness. Ma Shucha. Don't worry. Don't fear. Say, I should say, same spirit of words, just words are different. The spirit is exactly the same. Now, Sakrad Eva Prapannaya. You only have to surrender once. Oh, then the one may say, oh, nice. I will once go to Ramachandra and say, I surrender to you, and then I can do any nonsense I want. The answer is yes, one can do any nonsense. But what that means is I am putting a distance between me and the Lord. I'm allowing the entrance of Krishna's Maya energy to come and spin me. But even if I do so, the Lord will never let go of me. He will somehow or the other move me, nudge me, push me, uh, caress me, slap me, whatever is required for me to come back to that, oh, prapanna situation. From his side, he makes that contract. I will always be there. I may think, oh, I can do anything. It may take, there are hundreds and hundreds of stories of great personalities' lives have changed because the Lord intervened and brought them back and somehow the other made an arrangement for them to come back into a relationship with Him. But all it takes is once, Sakradeva. There's a famous verse from Hanuman Nataka that Ramachandra does certain things only one time, no two times. Tvishcharam Nabhisamdatte. Once Ramachandra raises or mounts an arrow on his bow, a second arrow is not required. Dvir na dadati. He doesn't give charity twice. Once he gives charity, he gives so much charity that the person doesn't have to ask another time. In one of the narrations of a Vaishnava Acharya, they were appreciating. This is not a certain scriptural statement, but they were appreciating that Ramachandra's nature of charity when Rama became the king. Now, there is similar of this in Srimad Bhagavatam. We'll worry about that later. But when Ramachandra became king and he wanted to give in charity, there was a line of Ayodhya Vasis. Ramachandra thought one by one to give. But he's such that the very first person he sees, his heart was so melted with love that he gave the person so much wealth that he didn't have anything left for himself. The question is, what about people in line? But the wealth he gave that first person was so much that the first person said, I cannot use all this. And he gave to the second one. That second person said, well, I can't do all. And then, like that, every person in the line started giving because they got so much more than they can ever use in their life that everybody in the line got satisfied because they all got from one to another, one to another. That much amount of charity Ramachandra can give, but he only gives it once. So another way is once Ramachandra, we ask and he gives his word that I'll take care of you. He takes care of the person in such a way that you don't have to go back another time and say, please, I need your help. Dvir vachanam na. Once he speaks, that is it. There is no second word. Very lovely verse. I think I've shared in our YouTube, in our WhatsApp group. I will share that verse again if you want. But lovely verse. We got to move on. This verse we can speak different ways for a very long time. It's getting time. So then he says, Anayenam Harisreshtha Dattamasthha Bhayam Maya Dattamasya Bhayam. Bring him here. Now, he never went directly to Vibhishana. This is the greatness. He said, bring him here. Sugriva, you bring him here. So the same Sugriva who was saying, kill him, arrest him, has to now go and bring Sugriva and bring Vibhishana. Sugriva has to go. Now, Sugriva doesn't go with any grudge. How does Sugriva go? Ramasya tu vachaha shutva Sugriva plavageshwaraha pratyabhasha kakutstham sauhardena abhipuritaha. Oh, Valmiki uses one word to tell us what Sugriva is feeling. Sauhardena abhipurita. Purita, filled. Abhipurita, overflowing. Sugriva's heart was overflowing with Sauhardam, friendship, loving feelings for Ramachandra, hearing what is Ramachandra's consideration. Because Ramachandra never told Sugriva, but this is how he treated Sugriva also. That is why his heart is flowing. Oh, I also deserted my brother. I also came and joined Ramachandra and had my brother killed. But I came because I was kicked out of the kingdom and I had wanted other things. But what was Ramachandra's considerations? Oh my gosh. And he says, Kimatra Chitram Dharma Kya? Wow. This is Sugriva going through Adbhuta Rasa. Kimatram Chitra Dharmagya Lokanath Shiro Shikhamane. Oh Ramachandra, you are the Shikhamani, the crown jewel of Lokanath, of anybody who can give shelter. You are the Shikhamani. Kimatram Chitra. Wow, I'm astounded by your benevolence. I'm astounded by your kindness, your generosity, your love. You are full of such goodness that you are always devoted of being on the right path. Ramachandra, can I tell you something? I also know that Vibhishana is a sincere person. And I also know that he has been fully tested by Hanuman. So for me, I don't carry any doubt. But he had spoken earlier that I'm speaking out of love for you. So then he said, Tasmat Kshipram Sahasmabhirtulyo Bhavatu Raghava. Saha Asmabhirtulyo. Let he be treated just like one of us. Vibhishano Mahapragya Sakhitvam Chabhyu Paitum Naha. Chabhyu Paitu Naha. Sakhitam, let him feel friendship, let him feel one of us. Then, hearing Sugriva, very quickly, as after hearing, Ramachandra arranged a very quick meeting with Vibhishana. And he says, just the way Indra had a quick meet or arranged for a very quick meeting or arranged quickly for a meeting with Garuda. I don't know the story of Indra and Garuda here. I didn't have the time to research it. If someone knows, you can speak, but that's how this chapter ends. This is the fantastic chapter of Ramachandra accepting Sugriva, accepting Vibhishana by convincing Sugriva of how Ramachandra's heart sees Vibhishana. Okay, any questions, comments? Oops, 9:28. Sorry, I got carried away a little bit. Any questions, comments, thoughts, reflections? Oh, by the way, all of you have been sharing reflections on the WhatsApp group. I very much appreciate it because I feel so enriched to see and hear how things are churning for you. Thank you. Please continue this. From today's also, if you don't get a chance to ask here, it's not about asking. I'm not so much interested in the questions part. I'm interested in how it is sitting with you. What are some of the movements? Because it's only one person speaking, but when I hear your considerations, then I feel I'm becoming enriched. So please don't become um miserly, or don't hold back. Your humility sometimes may tell you to hold back, but it is good for me and others to hear your reflections. So let's take a few here and see if you want to say anything. No?
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
Please accept my humble obeisances, Prabhuji. Always to Guru Maharaj and Srila Prabhupada. Uh, Thank you so much for this wonderful lecture, wonderful class. It's very, very hope giving and very, for me especially, it's giving me a lot of strength. Because at some point I was feeling that um, maybe I'm not pleasing my gurus, and I felt like I was very not enough in my efforts or something. And at some point, I was feeling that even Krishna and my guru, that they may not be happy with me, or they may have given up hopes on me. But I cannot even understand. I could not understand how much love they have for me.
Mm.
So, so I have, after the hearing this, they love me. I know that they don't give up on me.
Yeah, it's not
So,
possible.
so it's my I'm limited in understanding that, but this is really encouraging. All
Yeah.
that I need to do is just keep trying. He may not see how much I'm doing, but he'll see how sincere I am. So, uh, thank you so much.
Mhm. Ramachandra, thank you for sharing that. That's sweet of you. Ramachandra is opening his heart and speaking to Sugriva. What is his consideration? Ah, thank you. Anyone else? Maybe people are shy. But please share on the WhatsApp group. I'd love to hear your reflections. It's important. It's important that we share, because then we know it sits well. It enters and takes root in the heart very much. Okay, Shamakun, you wanted to say something? Please.
Hare Krishna Prabhu, thank you for a very touching class. Just want to add a little bit, like when you
Mm,
were saying once one does prapatti, you were just asking the rhetorical question: can we do whatever we want after doing prapatti or
mm,
after here? Um, in Sri Vedanta Desikacharya, in the Rahasya
right.
Trayasara, he has a chapter called Uttara Kritya Adhikaraha.
Yes.
So the Adhikara, in the Uttara Kritya Adhikara, he does mention that it is understood that the Supreme Lord will accept us after we surrender to Him even once. But from that moment till the soul leaves the body, we have to live our life like the way in preparation for
Right.
our eternal life in Vaikuntha or the spiritual realm. And so we'll have to listen to Krishna Katha or the Katha of Ramachandra. We'll have to engage in activities likewise. I just thought I'll add that to accentuate what you said.
No, thank you. I read that verse when you showed me the book. The reason I didn't emphasize too much on this particularly one is in the Sri Vaishnava um, understanding, they make a distinction between prapatti and bhakti, and their uh, way of saying it is prapatti. Once you surrender, it does not matter what you do, because prapatti means that at the time of death, the Lord takes the responsibility of bringing the person back. While in bhakti, the responsibility lies with you to act and behave in ways that you have to remember the Lord. as Gaudiya Vaishnavas, we believe that both are necessary, effort and grace. And when I read that you had pointed to me that section, Vedanta Deshika exactly says that it does not give you can't just go to the Lord and say, I am yours. And that's what I addressed, that carte blanche. After that, I can just do anything, and the Lord has to run after me. The answer is, the Lord does not forget that we said, I am yours. And He dedicates Himself to somehow or the other bring back that remembrance that I had said, I am yours. And how much ever time it takes, how many ever lifetimes it takes, He will help us move through that. So there is something for us also to engage in that relationship. And as you sweetly and nicely said, eloquently said, quoting Vedanta Deshika, that it is also behooves us to live a life of staying in the middle of the road. Thank you, Shamkut.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, this Radha Balvadas. Please accept my
Yeah, Radha
obeisances.
Vallabha, Hare Krishna.
Wonderful, 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 Prabhu. I can use those 3 words.
I
Last
only
3.
read Valmiki's shlokas. I didn't say anything. This wonderful is Valmiki's expression of things. Every word he has chosen is so wow. I was just reading the
Yes,
verses,
Prabhu.
no? So yeah.
And your
Yes, it
taste
is
for it.
wonderful.
Yeah, and your taste and the way your realizations about this whole
Oh
pastime
well,
is amazing. Yeah.
taste is all of yours too. You're coming, no, week after week. So
Thank you,
yes,
Prabhu.
Prabhu.
Yeah, wanted to appreciate especially the discussions here on Lord Ram, how he says one surrenders. We've been talking through the discussions. It's so resonating and so inspiring and keeps us encouraging. The Lord is there. And as we
Hmm.
move in our, as we continue in our progress, we sadhana bhakti, there is this modes of nature which of course control us to the extent we
Right.
try. So this is a very hope giving, and Guru Maharaj also has shared this particular instruction of Lord Ram that I'm here. Once I accept the devotee, he will take care of him. So, and you explained it
Yeah.
so well further. So just much very hope giving, encouraging, and we know that Lord is always he is an unconditional acceptance. So far as we don't intentionally try to do some nonsense, but under the modes when we are trying to cultivate sadhana bhakti, the Lord is always present and accepting us like a baby who crawling baby. He keeps falling, but the mother always accepts that, right? So
Yes.
very
Thank you.
hope giving and very encouraging. Thank you so much, Prabhu.
Yeah, thank you, Prabhu, for being so expressive. I appreciate that. Thank you.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. This is Krith
Hey,
Lakshmi.
Krita Lakshmi. Yes, Prabhu. What's up?
Thank you so much for a wonderful session on Lord Rama's considerations. I was, while you were narrating, somehow I was thinking, this was just me speculating. I was thinking maybe Lord Rama will remind Sugriva that he too was in some similar situation. He came and then Lord Rama helped him, but he doesn't. On contrary, when he was meaning that a little sarcastic, or so to speak, that kind of tone. But when he was speaking to Lakshmana during the time when Bharata came to meet Lord Ramachandra, and he says to Lakshmana, maybe you should become the king.
Right.
So it was very interesting how he deals with Sugriva in this situation, and such wonderful words and gesture also. He asked Sugriva to go fetch Vibhishana instead of anyone
Yeah.
else. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Okay. Anyone else? If not, we'll pause here and then you can express on the WhatsApp group if you like. Although I encourage you to. Hey, Parama Karuna Prabhu.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Please accept my humble obeisances, Agar Prabhupada. Um, this question is not related to the class, but I was just appreciating the Valmiki way of expressing this beautiful, beautiful poetry of Ramayana.
Yeah,
And I was
yes.
just contemplating that before Valmiki, he was a who he was, and how by the mercy of Guru, he became completely eloquent speaker. Do you want to add something, bro, for that?
Mukam karoti vachalam, pango langhayate giru, yat kripatamaham vande Shri Gurum Dinataranam. I mean, what can we say? So many blessings came to him because of he accepting the grace of the Guru. But thank you for addressing that. Shamakun, do you have something else to say?
Hare Krishna Prabhu.
Hey, Madhav Priya, Hare Krishna.
Thank you for the wonderful class. I had
Oh,
I didn't understand the part where they said that we should we should sacrifice ourselves for the sake of the enemy. But what if we use our life much more better than the enemy, and it would be a waste to give our life and the enemy? It would be like we're helping the enemy to do something bad.
correct. But the enemy that he's speaking about is if an enemy comes like this to your doorstep, the hospitality, the charity that is being spoken is of that nature. Not just if you're standing in battle, go and say, all right, take my life. That same Ramachandra is going to fight a war with Ravana now. Okay. So you have to be able to reconcile. What he's speaking is that if someone comes to your shelter, even if they are an enemy, but if they come to your shelter, you should never turn them away. And the hospitality to offer them would be even at the cost of your own life. Now in Bhagavatam, we hear the story of Ranti Dev. And Ramachandra also appears in the lineage of the great king Shibi, who once he said, I will protect the pigeon. The eagle said, well, that's my food. He said, I'll give you my own meat, and I'll give you the meat as equal in weight to the pigeon's weight. But interestingly, the pigeon was becoming heavier and heavier. You know this story, right? So finally, King Shibi said, what is going on? I'm giving chunks of my body flesh, but this pigeon is a very tricky pigeon. It's becoming heavier and heavier. So he went and sat in the weighing scale that said, I'm giving my own life because I've given my word to that pigeon. That's when Agni and Indra showed themselves and said, we just want the world to see how great you are. Now, this is for a pigeon who's taken shelter. So Ramachandra gives the story of the kapota, the pigeon, and the words of Kandu Rishi as what is the frame of reference for being charitable. That's all it means. So even if an enemy comes, you should give.
Yes, Prabhu. Thank you.
You're welcome. Okay, well, let's end here. I've gone over time, way over time, sorry. But thank you very much for being here. Until we meet again next week, where we will discuss what happens when Vibhishana arrives or lands from hovering in the sky towards the feet of Sri Ramachandra. Until then, we make it our meditation for all and thank and carry gratitude for all the persons who have contributed different ways. Just this morning before class, Himangi and I were speaking just this topic. She was expressing her gratitude for the different people who have contributed in her life. We were reminiscing. Some people played small role, some people played big role, medium, but everybody who played that role somehow or the other in our lives, that today we are here with a taste for hearing Sri Ramakatha, for a taste of being in the company of devotees. So we take time to recognize them, express our gratitude, and hopefully in our hearts carry a service attitude to all living beings, sometimes even those that appear to be like enemies or friends. Friends is easier, enemies is more difficult, but we carry genuine sense of goodwill in our hearts. सीता राम लक्ष्मण हनुमान जी की जय। शिल प्रभुपाद की जय।